Hello, my name is Rahman. I'm a conservation biologist and I work for Creative Conservation Alliance. We have been working to protect the lost wild places of Bangladesh. What first inspired me to get in this line of work? Okay, when I look back in my childhood, I realized that the only thing I really liked as a child was nature and being with wildlife and animals. So, when I was growing up, I got a lot of experiences working in different projects, and that's where I really realized, okay, I need to, this is my life. I will spend the rest of my life working as a conservation biologist, trying to protect wildlife and nature. And I found nature as my refuge. And when I go in this beautiful tropical forest, the smell, the sound of the birds, the forest, and it really attracts me. And I realized that it would be extremely unfair and sad if we don't let our future generation to experience that. And I think that experience, I think that's the reason that motivates me to try to protect something or some areas that our future generation can experience the way I have experienced. Question number 2. What does my work consist of on a day-to-day basis? Well, most people realize based on our social media pages that I spend all my time with animals. Well, I think people often don't realize conservation is 90% about working with humans and 10% with animals. So our day-to-day life, it varies. It ranges from all the way from meeting with the government, writing grants, contacting people, building network, raising funds. A lot of times some of the work I'm not a big fan of. It's like especially going with the government meetings, but those are very necessary and important to sustain our work and to involve the government and other stakeholders in conservation. So yes, we don't always like what you do, but we have to do it as a responsibility. Question number 3. What is the most disconcerting things I have to deal with? I think one of the things that bothers me is the bureaucracy. Sometimes you have to you have to go through paperwork which take months to make certain things happen, and that's kind of slow the progress of the work because conservation oftentimes is a race against time, and if we spend that much of time for just the paperwork, doesn't really help species. Another thing which also bothers me is a lot of those unhealthy competition between conservationists because we are competing for limited resources of funding, and which can be a bit of competition, but we also shouldn't forget our main goal. We shouldn't deviate from the cause. So sometimes conservationists themselves take part in activities which takes us from the main goal of conservation, and then we end up engaging in activities which is not healthy for individual as well as for conservation. So I think that's something we should try not to do, and that's something that concerns me. What gives me the most reason for optimism? Well, if you look around everywhere, and it's very easy to get frustrated and depressed because we probably don't see much to make us optimistic. But also within all this destruction, I see evidence that things are changing, maybe a bit slow, but I see more and more people are talking about the environmental issues. People are more concerned about wildlife, which wasn't that much, and even a decade ago. So I think that the interest is growing, and I believe that over time the things will change and people will make the right decision to conserve our wildlife. If I could change one thing in one sphere to make a difference for our planet, what would it be? So I hope, I really wish to see that having a political commitment to our politicians getting involved in conservation and they take conservation of biodiversity as one of the manifesto and when they run for office. And I think that's where I think would tremendously help our wildlife for long-term conservation.